What's up, everyone, and welcome back to Brian Sports Hub. If you're new here, my name is Brian. I am the host of this podcast. And today I'm going to be taking the 8 NFL divisions and ranking them from worst to best. But before I get started, let me just send you the intro, and then I'll meet you back up and we can jump right into the content. All right, so like I said, in today's episode, I'm going to be ranking the NFL divisions from worst to best, starting with number 8. And as the worst division in football, I have the AFC East. Now, the AFC East has the Buffalo Bills, the New York Jets, the New England Patriots, and the Miami Dolphins. Honestly, this was not a very tough decision for the sheer fact of the record. The Bills are the only team right now in the division that is above 500. Every other team has at most 2 wins. The Dolphins are 2-4, the Jets are 2-5, the Patriots are 1-6, and then the Bills are sitting at 5-2. Honestly, they just haven't looked good. None of the teams other than the Bills have looked good, and even the Bills haven't been consistent throughout all 7 games. But they've been good. They've been winning. But when you look at all these other divisions, there's no comparison. This has been the worst. Now, some of it is due to injury. Some of it is due to head coach firings. But either way, they are at the bottom of my list just from what I've seen so far in the first 7 weeks. Moving on to number 7, I have the NFC South. Now, the NFC South it's definitely competitive at the top right now. The top 2 teams, the Buccaneers and the Falcons, they're both at 4-3. But when I look at the division, they're doing a little better than many expected. A lot of people thought they'd be in the bottom. A lot of people thought they'd be the worst division in football. But I have them one above, which is not bad. Like I said, the Falcons and Bucs are sitting at 4-3. The Saints are at 2-5, and the Panthers are at 1-6. Although the Saints had a hot start, and it looked like this was going to be one of the more competitive, better divisions in the beginning of the season, the Saints have been on a 5-game losing streak. The Panthers are no better than last year, possibly even worse than last year. And the Falcons and Buccaneers are fighting barely above 500 for that division title. So as much as I love rooting for these teams and seeing them succeed and seeing this competitiveness, if I look at and compare their records and how they've played with the other divisions, they fall at number 7. At number 6, I have the AFC South. Now in the AFC South, you have the Houston Texans, the Indianapolis Colts, the Jacksonville Jaguars, and the Tennessee Titans. This South division falls very similar to the NFC South, their counterpart, where you have 2 teams that are above 500, fighting for the title pretty close to each other, and then 2 teams at the bottom that have very similar numbers as well. The Texans are sitting at 5-2 right now, leading. The Colts somehow, after having Anthony Richardson hurt, are at 4-3. The Jaguars, still trying to find their identity, are sitting at 2-5, and then the Titans, who just have not been playing good football at all, do not really have a quarterback of the future right now, are sitting at 1-5. There's really nothing more to even say about it. If you look at the records look very similar to NFC South, but because the Titans have 1 less loss right now and the Texans have 1 more win than the top and the bottom team in the NFC South, I have them 1 step above. Moving on to number 5 in the division. This is the 5th best division in NFL football. I have the AFC West. And yes, the Chiefs are undefeated. They're 6-0. But when you look at how they've played, they haven't looked like an undefeated team. They've been able to win, which is all credit to them. But when your top team even looks like they should be going 3-3, it doesn't bode well for the actual entire division. You go ahead and look at the other records. The Broncos are 4-3 with a rookie quarterback. They've been doing well, don't get me wrong, but they just aren't driving anyone or bringing anyone in to watch the games, which means that their play style is good, wins them some games. It's just not intriguing enough. It's not up to a level of these other 4 divisions that are ahead. And the same goes with the Chargers and the Raiders. Chargers sitting at 3-3, Raiders sitting at 2-5. They're doing well, which is exactly why they're in the middle of the pack. They play decently enough to win games, or they play decently enough to be at that 5 position, but they just don't play well. Like, they just don't have that same effect as these top 4 or these other 4 divisions that I'm about to name off. So moving on to number 4, I have the NFC West. This has the Seattle Seahawks, the San Francisco 49ers, the Arizona Cardinals, and the Los Angeles Rams. Now, this division is very competitive, exactly what people thought it would be. A competitive division where any of the teams, or at least 3 of the 4 teams, could compete for that title. The only issue right now is that injuries have really plagued this entire division, specifically the 49ers. They're out a lot of stars right now for the season, which has kind of hurt them with their record and their playing. But nonetheless, they have looked good. The division has looked very competitive, very interesting, and they've played well. They've played like teams that should be in playoff contention in the NFC. The Seahawks are sitting at 4-3. The 49ers, Cardinals, and Rams are all sitting at 3-4, which makes this one of the more interesting storylines of the season to watch and see which of these teams is going to come out on top. Right now it's the Seahawks, but maybe in 3 weeks it's the Rams. We have no idea. Nonetheless, it's a very good division. They've been playing well, they've been playing good football, but they just haven't been to the level of these next 3. Moving on to number 3, I have the NFC East. Now the NFC East their standings have been completely shaken up because when we were coming in, or any fan coming in was probably not going to pick the Commanders to be in the lead, to be with the best record. Yet here we are, 7 weeks in the NFL, and the Commanders have a 5-2 record, which is the best in the division. So the Commanders are sitting, like I said, at 5-2. The Eagles are at 4-2. Cowboys at 3-3, and then Giants at 2-5. 3 of these teams are above 500. 3 of these teams are even still pretty close to playoff contention right now. Like they're still fighting for that playoff contention. Yes, the Giants haven't been eliminated yet. No team has. But just based off how they've played so far, you can tell that they're not going to be there. Nonetheless, these teams have played really well. They've played competitive. They've had very interesting games. They've won a really good amount of games as well, especially the Commanders and Eagles. For that reason, I see them as the 3rd best division right now. Hopefully, they continue on. If the Cowboys then catch fire, this division could absolutely be one of the best, if not the best, in the NFL. But right now, it's 3 behind these next 2. At number 2, I have the AFC North. Now, this division was slated to be the best division coming in. A lot of fans had them as the best division coming in because all 4 teams would not shock anyone if all 4 of these teams made the playoffs in the same year. The Bengals, Browns, Ravens, and Steelers all have the capability to make the playoffs. It's just if they have the luck of injury and the luck of late games that are tight. So, for example, if you went back and watched the Ravens-Bengals game, you could see that sometimes luck just happens in different areas. A missed field goal, a bad snap, a bad hold. That's what I'm talking about with like the luck of the game. Either way, Ravens and Steelers are sitting at the top at 5-2. Bengals are at 3-4. They're kind of getting their groove back after starting 1-4. And then the Browns are sitting at 1-6. Now the Browns have kind of been, not even kind of, they have been plagued with injury and just bad play in general. They're still trying to find themselves, but they have such a good defense, or at least cornerstones on that defense with Myles Garrett and Denzel Ward, that I could absolutely see them turning their season around. And maybe now with Jameis Winston, a new face under the quarterback, just because Deshaun Watson is now hurt, maybe that ignites a spark. Maybe they start getting going. It's going to be very interesting to watch. But this division entirely, they've been playing good football. Most of the teams have been playing good football, especially the Ravens and Steelers. The Bengals have been playing really good offensively. It's just, can the Bengals clean up the defense? Can the Browns clean up a little bit more and get a little bit more organized? And I could absolutely see all 4 of these teams fighting for a playoff spot. Now, the best division in NFL right now, after week 7, is the NFC North. This is my number 1 division. And it's one simple fact. If you look at all the records, every single one of the teams is at least 2 games over 500. The Lions are sitting at 5-1. The Vikings are sitting at 5-1. The Packers are sitting at 5-2. And the Bears are sitting at 4-2. No one saw this division coming in at the best. Maybe second or third, but no one saw the Bears coming out 4-2. No one saw the Vikings going out 5-0 starting the season. Nonetheless, they're here. They're playing well. All these teams are playing well. Even Jordan Love coming back from injury, he's playing well. He's got right back into the groove within a week. So nonetheless, this division has looked great. They look like they're gonna continue to be great. And I'm going to be really excited to see who comes out on top, because any one of these teams has the ability to win the division. And I believe if you look at it, it's 5-1 to 4-2. That's the separation. So it's about a 1-game difference between first place and fourth place, which makes this division even better than anyone could think of. So it's going to be fun to watch this. I'm excited to see this. And for that simple reason, the record and the way they've been playing, they absolutely made it so easy to choose them as the best division in NFL right now after week 7. So recapping the top 8 or the rankings of my divisions. At number 1, I have the NFC North. At number 2, I have the AFC North. At number 3, I have the NFC East. At number 4 is the NFC West. Number 5 is the AFC West. Number 6 is the AFC South. Number 7 is the AFC or NFC South. And then wrapping up my list as the worst division, number 8 is the AFC East. So this is going to be very interesting to watch. Honestly, none of these rankings are locked. The NFC North could all of a sudden fall off and fall down to the 4th best. NFC West could pick up all of a sudden and go up to the 2nd best division. None of these teams, even the AFC East, could pick up with Tua coming back and possibly move up to the 6th, 5th, maybe even 4th best division. There is no division here that is locked in place to be like, yep, this is how they're going to finish. It's just that early in the season, and it's that unpredictable with injuries and other reasons, whether it's organization, coaching, and so forth. So I'm going to be interested to watch and see which division ends up being the best by the end of the year. Nonetheless, it's going to be exciting, and I'm all for it. So thank you guys for tuning in. Remember, this is Brian Sports Hub, your source for sports.